So I'm going to clear this file, and we're going to go through another topic that I wanted to show. It's basically our ability to run Wing tests on multi-cloud. So both on the simulator and on the cloud. And I'm going to do a very simple kind of solution, but again, it's going to show the value here. Great. So bring cloud. Let's start again. Bring cloud. And I'm going to do two tests on a bucket. So let's do let b equal new cloud bucket. And let's do new. And now I'm adding two tests. So adding a test right now in Wing is basically creating a cloud function that has a name test column something, right? Yeah. New cloud function. And I'm going to in-flight. Oh, oi, sorry. Great. And if that's a Jewish.
Oy vey.
Oy vey, yeah. Mel Brooks, oy. Get and put and get. I'm going to check that the bucket actually works, that I put something and get it. Okay?
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to do
basic.
Yeah. B put file.txt and then txr, and then I'm going to do some content. Great. And I'm going to let actual equal b.get file.txt, and then I'm going to do assert actual equals some content. I'm gonna make an arrow just to make sure that it's to see the test fails.
Isn't Chris gonna ask Eyal that you're missing some await here between the put and the get?
Yeah, this is I want to tell you, Elad, that the idea to remove await by far the best idea. I mean, it's so nice to write code. Yeah, it's so nice to write code like this. And I'm invoking this.
Griffhammer is saying the local simulator is incredible value. It has been one of the things that have been difficult for me to find solution that is anywhere near as convenient as it is in Wing.
Wow. I'm not sure someone beside us was able to hear you, but I mean, were you? Okay, great. So, but I think that the local experience is crazy. I mean, our ability to pull it off will be crazy. So I've run those tests, and it was compiling to the simulator. This is a hint to what we're going to see in a second. And there was a mistake here because I didn't do the T here. I like to see my tests fail before they pass. And now they work, and I'm going to duplicate this test, probably like this. Yep, great. And I'm going to use the same file. I'm going to put some content. Let's call it content 1. You know what? Let's do this content 2 here. Not to break the test. And then instead of doing this, I'm going to do list. List basically kind of give me all the list of files here. And I'm going to do actual dot length.
So now an advanced question. What length would you expect here? Because you have two test methods.
Okay.
Right, two test functions.
Right.
Each of them puts something in the bucket.
Yeah.
So what happens?
Right. So
what if both of them run at the same time? One runs before the other.
Right. Good one. And we're going to see this in the. First of all, let's see whether this. So I did length start equal 1, and let's run it. If they run in isolation, this test is going to pass, right? And any time it's the second one, and they run in isolation. This means that you know what? Let me even check this. It means that when this thing starts, the b.list.length needs to equal 0. And although it runs after the put and get, because it's isolated, this thing passes. And that's an important feature of our test. They all run in isolation. And it's kind of magic here, but we're going to see how the magic happens when we're going to do something even nicer.
You want to show the console?
Yeah, why not? So let's do Wing it. Don't show the tail. I mean, when we're going to deploy this to AWS, it's going to be we're going to be able to see it. We're going to actually be able to see it.
Okay, so gonna stay quiet for now.
Right. So kind of not quiet, but
quieter.
Don't do this tell. I mean, just so we're not seeing those tests. I mean, and we can click here and we actually can see the test and how they interact with the bucket. and these are the two tests. But I can go over here, and I have the new test section, and I can just run them, both of them here. And I can see that they pass. I can run one of them, and let's break one of them just for a second, and save this, and let's run both of them, and you see that it fails. And I can go and run it, and I can actually, after it runs, I can go to the bucket and see what happens here. I have some content too, and that's why the length is not run. I can actually debug the test. I can debug the state. Awesome. And now I have those two things running and passing right now. Let's make sure that it passes. It really needs to kind of run on compile, and I can do wing test. And now it's running on my local host. By the way, no mocking was required, right? I mean, it's kind of similar when you do test in Java, you don't mock the string, you don't mock the array, you don't need to mock those stuff because these are first-class seasonal language, you don't need to mock them. Now, I want to see what happens when I run them. The same test, I'm going to add a target, and I'm going to tf.aws, and I'm going to run the same exact test because I want to make sure that this is running. I mean, this is kind of checking the bucket, which is kind of wing responsibility to make sure that it runs similar on all clouds. But my application, I want to make sure that my application runs similar on all clouds. So I'm going to run it on TFWS. And what's going to happen right now, it's going to take some time. So the first thing is compiling to TFWS. Let's zoom in here. Let's get this thing smaller. And I'm going to go, and now it's doing Terraform init. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit the refresh. This is my buckets in S3. There's only one bucket here, which is remaining from what we've seen. We don't care about that. Forget about it. Now it does Terraform apply. Now I'm going to have, I should have one bucket here, but there's also the bucket of the actual code. So I'm going to have two buckets. But instead of having two buckets, so this is the code bucket for the Lambda function. Now I have two buckets here, which are basically, this bucket basically gets deployed twice. I'm going to do, I'm going to run this again and say as my single bucket. And I'm going to do this again. I'm going to allow Terraform destroy to destroy this. By the way, what have we seen? We've seen compiling, Terraform init, Terraform apply, setting up test runner, running test. Those two tests were running on the cloud. Both of them passed, and now it did Terraform destroy. So it left the system the same as before. I'm going to do this again, because this is magic to me. We've written tests, run them kind of instantly on my local host, and then we were able to run them on any cloud provider. Right now, the only available cloud provider is TF AWS. And actually, no, there's also AWS CDK, right? And
it won't work on GCP and Azure? We don't
No.
have the cloud because we don't have the bucket.
I don't, actually, maybe this will work, but I'm not going to try it right now. I'm not going to try it right now. I mean, I don't have the, it's not going to work, just because I haven't tried it. So now we have my single bucket, we've seen it twice here. So it's not a single bucket, and if we're going to go over here, if we're going to refresh, we're going to be able to see that the file will exist because it's running the test. So it's doing Terraform apply. Now it's running the test. I'm hitting refresh, and I'm able to see the file. And if I go and open it and download it, I'm going to see the same content that we saw before. And the test running, and this is it. We have tests that are running that to make sure that your application is guaranteed to work, you are able to use this wing test command in order to make sure.
So how do I debug what happened if you do Terraform destroy right after the test runs? So if a test fails.
Right. So I think that if a test fails, it's probably the best thing will be to not do Terraform destroy. It's not what we're doing right now. I think I think it's a good call out. I think right now we're doing this. If it's going to do Terraform destroy anyhow. But debugging is also something that we're gonna put more work into it, especially in this scenarios where it's basically kind of running it not in production. This is wing test. Thank you, Chris, for doing this. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. So we covered our three main topics. I think it's time for kind of a quick reflection before we go and meet Eric. Do you mind pinning Eric that we're gonna meet in? I think a quick refreshment. We're gonna move into our the one and only Mark the DJ. Nadav. Awesome.
Hey everyone. I don't know if I've said it before, but one of my favorite parts about doing this is going through music I already love listening to on Spotify and seeing if it has a cool music video. And sometimes they're really great. Either they're really funny or really beautiful. This is one of those times where the video's fine, but it has just about the worst quality you can get on YouTube. So I'm very sorry to be assaulting your eyeballs with 240p. But I think the song is really good and worth listening to. So here's Grand National's Drink to Moving On.